Hello gamers, Calm Double O here. Just bringing a video in today, just inspired by a comment left on another video asking about pool 2. I do know that, you know, a lot of players are still in pool 2, still looking for a deck to climb, to obviously obtain those rewards that are at the tail end of the rank ladder. So if we come across here, as you can see, many people are looking for a deck to be able to get to the end of the rank, because as you can see, when you climb 300 credits by 60, then 7 you get the mystery variant. Everyone loves variants. And 500 credits at 80, 500 gold at 90, and obviously the card back at 100. So a lot of people are getting stuck at different ranks. I've been stuck at pretty much every single one of these ranks. So the video today is going to be about what I believe is the best pool 2 deck in the game, the easiest deck to grind out these ranks, and definitely one of the best decks. This deck is so strong that even when people get into pool 3, if they don't clutch out a big pickup like a Wong or a Hela or just a Destroyer, they will play this deck until they find a piece like that. That is, you know, that's a hallmark of a good deck, right? And the deck that I'm talking about won't surprise everyone, but it is the pool 2 Dino, the Devil Dino, Moon Dino. It's got different names, different variants, very popular deck. I will go through this today, just kind of tips how to play this deck, how it works, you know, what's the operations, what's the things to look out for, and kind of, you know, hopefully help a couple people to be able to get, you know, those all important juicy resources at the higher ranks of the rank season. So starting off, the way the deck works, it's centered around Devil Dinosaur. The way Devil Dinosaur works, it's a 5 energy 3 power card with the effect ongoing +2 for each card in your hand. Okay, so when you've got 7 cards in hand, this obviously has 17 power, 6, 15 power, and so on, right? Even if you've got half a hand, it's still got 11, 13 power. It's a lot of power in pool 2. It's a lot of power. Now, why we call it Dino Moon or Moon Dino is because Moon Girl is the second most important card in this deck. On reveal, duplicate your hand, 4 energy, 4 power. What this allows you to do is to power up your Devil Dinosaur here to those higher benchmarks. And the rest of the deck, the entire deck is about increasing how many cards you have in your hand. And there's another engine as well. So I'll go through it step by step. Elektra, 1 cost, 1 energy, 1 power. Destroy random enemy 1 cost at this location. This is just very good against enemy Nightcrawlers, enemy Sunspots. Just very solid at dealing with other threats in pool 2, other 1 costs in pool 2. Also, obviously, very good with Angela, which I'll go over shortly. Agent 13, another 1 cost in the deck. There's quite a few 1 costs in the deck. 1 energy, 2 power, add a random card to your hand. This is obviously going together with the theme of Dino, keeping your hand clogged as hard as possible. And another fantastic feature about this card is that it's a random card from any pool. So although you're in pool 2 and most of your opponents will be in pool 2, this card will be able to pull cards from pool 3 and really surprise your opponents. You know, a big part of this game is surprising your opponent, being unpredictable. And what's more unpredictable than having a pool 3 card when you're both playing with pool 2 cards, right? So that's a great feature of this card, whilst also clogging. Just a good little starter card. Opening card. Mantis, in a similar ilk, 1 cost, 1 energy, 2 power. On reveal, if your opponent played a card here this turn, draw a card from their deck. This is fantastic. Not only does it mill their deck, it might take something important out of their deck. You can use it early on, so you can tell the archetype of your opponent. Like, you know, if you take out a Vulture, for example, you know that they're playing movement. If you take out Infinite, you know that they're obviously playing big boys or Infinite deck. So This is very good card, whilst also clogging your hand to enhance Dino as well. So very good. Then Nightcrawler will feature in a lot of decks throughout Pool 1 and Pool 2. I think last time I checked, it's the most played card in the game. I'm not sure if that's still true, but it was at one point. It's just fantastic because it can move. And because it can move, it means that it's flexible. You can play it on location 3 or 2 at the beginning of the game. And then you can, if that location is a location where you don't want Nightcrawler, you can move it out, right? You're able to move it around. So that flexibility really helps in this game where, you know, there's a lot of cards that don't have that ability to move freely. So that's fantastic. Then we have Angela, which is an engine at Pool 2. Very powerful card for what it is. It's 2 energy, 1 power. When you play a card here, plus 2 power. So, you know, this also works with Nightcrawler, where you can play it on a location, then play Nightcrawler and move Nightcrawler out, and then play another card there to give it another boost, an extra 2 power. So, you know, you regularly see Angela with 7 or 9 power, and just a very good card to really tell your opponent, I'm getting this location, I'm taking this location. You can secure a location with this card, and then you're kind of fighting for 2 other locations. You can pick one. It gives you that kind of advantage of, you know, your opponent really has to work to get the location of Angela. So what she's all about is just getting a location, putting it down early, and, you know, just pumping that location out of power to the point where the opponent isn't going to feel like it's worth it to contest it. So that's what Angela is all about, and that really works well with the 4/1 cost we have in this deck. Okay, and then Collector, fantastic. In a similar ilk to Angela, another engine, another 2 cost, 2 energy, 1 power. And the ability here is when a card enters your hand from anywhere except your deck, plus 1 power. So this works with what we've seen so far. It works with Moon Girl. It works with Agent 13. It works with Mantis. Also works with Cable. Also works with White Queen. So very synergistic piece to the deck. And, you know, it's kind of like if you're powering up Collector or Dinosaur, you're powering another one. So these are very 2 synergistic cards where if one of them is getting more powerful, the other one is as well. So very, very good piece to have. Very nice card to have in a you know, a zone that's locked down. Like, for example, Kiln, or, you know, any location if it gets Scarlet Witched, where you can't place a card anymore, you're able to get power onto that location through this card by just adding, you know, cards to your hand. So yeah, fantastic. Cable, also very similar. Clogging mechanic, 2 energy, 2 power. Put the bottom card of your opponent's deck into your hand. Very like Mantis, but less conditional, because Mantis obviously requires the opponent to play there, and you have to kind of skill check that, whilst you can just play Cable anywhere and you're going to get that card. Good to take that out of the deck. Good for finding out what archetype they are again, and yeah, just good for clogging your hand. Sentinel, very nice card. 2 energy, 3 power. On reveal, add another Sentinel to your hand. So it's just good to get board presence with this card. It gives you board presence and power without trading your hand away, so your Dino's not getting weaker. You're always getting a Sentinel back when you place it down. So this is just another feature. Like as you can see, like as we get through the deck, pretty much the reason why this deck is so good, because not only is Dino just very, very powerful for its tier, every single piece is doing something very, very important. They all mesh together very, very well. Moon Girl, as we went over at the beginning, but I'll go over it again. 4 energy, 4 power, duplicate your hand. Now, one thing to just note with this card is that the way the duplication works, the way it prioritizes, is you can have a maximum of 7 cards in your hand. If you have a full hand, you can't draw any more cards. So just remember that. If you have a full hand, you can't draw from your deck. And like nothing will happen. It will just stay in your deck. You won't like lose the card or anything. But one thing to recognize is that it's priority left to right. So for example, let's say you have 4 cards in hand. The 4th card on the right won't get duplicated. The first 3 will. So just make sure you are watching out for that, because you want to be duplicating your Dino ideally. Now, one of the most devastating things about this deck, guys, because I played with and played a lot against this deck when I did my first Infinite climb, because I was at the end of Pool 2. If you have Moon Girl and Devil Dino in hand, it's pretty much a snap nearly every single time, because what happens is you Moon Girl on turn 4, okay, and then turn 5 and turn 6 you're having a Dino each. And at the end of the game, you're going to have 2 15 power Dinos. And 2 15 power bodies is just absolutely insane in pool 2, and it's very hard to overcome that, right? A card to watch out for though, guys, the most dangerous card and threatening card to this deck in my opinion. Well, Enchantress is really bad. Obviously, let's just go and check Enchantress to show you what Enchantress does. Remove the abilities from all ongoing cards at its location. It's at 4 energy, so just watch out from 4 energy, because this will just shut down the Devil Dinosaur, because it's an ongoing ability. It will end up at its base 3 power no matter what you have in your hands. Just watch out for that. And another card to watch out for as well, very dangerous card, is Shang-Chi. Destroy all enemy cards at its location that have 9 or more power. This is also a 4 energy card. So at 4, you start to find the counters. Just be very wary of this, because these are the kind of counter cards that you run into. You're feeling confident, you've got dinos on the board, and then boom, you've lost 8 cubes because they've got a counter card. So just watch out for that. And it's just about kind of reading the game, you know. Like, you put a dino down and someone snaps, there's only 2 things happen, or there's 3 things happening. They could be bluffing, which is very unlikely, or they feel like they've just got power on their board to be able to compete with you, which is also very unlikely at pool 2 with this deck. Or they've got one of these counter cards ready to just kind of cheat you in turn 5 or turn 6. So be very wary of that, guys. Those are definitely the threats of the deck. But yeah, again, like Moon Girl 4 into Devil Dinosaur 5, Devil Dinosaur 6 is a fantastic play, very hard to overcome, and you'll get a lot of cubes from doing that. Just make sure you're preemptively snapping. And just the 2 last cards to go through. White Queen, 4 energy, 6 power. Draw a card of the highest cost. Draw a copy of the highest cost card in your opponent's hands. Fantastic. Very, very good, because it lets you know what's potentially coming. Like, obviously, most of the time, the highest cost card in your opponent's hand is going to be the most threatening. It's going to be their most powerful, right? So you can play for that. You can play around that and expect that card, whilst also still clogging and stacking up Devil Dinosaur and Collector. So just kind of like, it's kind of a higher energy version of, you know, your Mantis, for example. It's very similar ilk of Cable. And then the final card is Chavez. You know, if you get a bad game, bad draw, you've also got Chavez to lean on. And also, what's very good about Chavez, you know, in just any deck, well, it's 6 energy, 9 power. You always draw his card on turn 6 and not before, so it allows you to get your combo earlier. You've got more chance of picking up Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur in this deck pre-6 when you have this in your hand, because obviously, in your deck, because you're not going to draw it beforehand, so you've got more chance of drawing every other card in the deck. That's really it, guys. I think, like, if you really get into this deck and play it and start to learn the intricacies and follow the basic tips I've got, and obviously you'll learn yourself as you play how it matches up against the different archetypes. You know, in pool 2 you've got movement, you've got the Infinite deck. And just on that note, just to show you how strong Devil Dinosaur really is, Infinite is a 6 energy, 20 power card, which requires you to skip a turn and not play anything for a turn to get on the field. And Devil Dinosaur is effectively 15 or 17 power, and it's 1 energy less, whilst also you can play as well. So it's just very, very strong, guys. And I do believe this is the best pool 2 deck. So yeah, I hope you get on with this deck. Hope you try it out. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. Also, I'm live on Twitch every day, which I'll leave a link to in the description here in the bio. I'll also leave a link to this deck, which you can copy. So if I go to, you know, share, I'll put that down there, and then you can just grab that link, put it straight into your game, and voila, you're ready to try out the Dino deck. Yeah, so that's about it, guys. I'll wrap it up here. But yeah, thanks again, gamers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.